Hello everyone, this is Jason with Shy Snake Games, and I wanted to give everyone a quick preview of some of the work we've been doing here on SpyDNA. And today I'm going to talk about some of the UI work, uh, the inventory management for missions, and then finally the new map edges for the maps. So I'm going to start with the UI, and I'm going to go through character creation just for a bit here. And you can see on the left, we've actually been putting a lot of time into cleaning up the appearance of our chat and also our dialogues. So let me get started here. And I'm going to go through all these questions, but due to the miracle of editing, I won't bore you with clicking through each of them, and then we'll go on. After finishing character creation, you can see we're here at the base. The first thing you'll notice is we've made a lot of changes to our HUD down here at the bottom. The old radio buttons, which used to control the timeline, the camera, and the character stance, have been replaced with these sliders, which are a little easier to visualize and to quickly see what's going on. And you can see they're affected both by keyboard shortcuts and by clicking on them directly in the UI. For instance, if I just go to the edge to drag the map, it'll automatically go back to free mode. So we didn't just work on the HUD at the bottom, we also put a little effort into our character sheets. So you can see we replaced all the buttons with new UI assets and put a little effort into the progress bars, trying to make everything a little gentler on the eyes, a little less harsh edges than what we had before. And now on the skills screen, you can see we added a lot more information. For instance, this pistol skill, the character has a base skill, that is how much training they've put into it, of 60. But when they're actually using the skill, the effective number is slightly higher than that, about 68. And this is due to the related attributes. You see that this depends on their dexterity and physical quickness. So if I go back here, you see good physical quickness and reasonable dexterity. So they're getting a bonus of about 8. You can see bonuses actually somewhat greater than that. I've seen 10, a little higher than 10. But that information will be available for each and every skill here. And we'll be adding a few more skills before we get to early access. And if I go to inventory, you can see we've actually added a 3D model viewer up in the top left. So this gives you an idea of what the actual items you're looking at look like. Just to add a little visual richness, since we have the models, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to see them in your inventory. And if I go to status, it's the same thing, where you'll see the image of your character along with any damage that they've taken. So we actually put the crime show style medical rods or metal rods in the character when they're injured, so you can see where the injuries are. But this will actually mirror your character's in-game stance. So if I get to kneeling here, you'll see that's reflected in the status screen. So we constantly update it just so you can see exactly what's going on. Okay, so this is our new UI for the missions. It's actually not changed that much, but we did some reorganization. So now rather than having next and going to a separate screen, we've moved everything to one screen, and you can select between the different stages of it here on the left. So I'm going to switch to a different mission just so I can have a second character. Let me add our sniper. So let's say that's the team I wanted to take for this mission, and when we go to team selection, so here it's exactly as it was before. You can still scroll through your uniforms. Let's say I'm going to take him like that, and for our sniper, let's have her in our field uniform because she'll be somewhere out in the woods covering us. And then you go to equipment, and you can see first in the top left This is the speed versus weight you carry visualization. So you can see right now the character's carrying quite a bit of load, and that's because in the field outfit you get your default combat armor, which is pretty heavy, along with the big sniper rifle. So those two things, you know, by themselves add quite a lot of weight. And you can see the impact it's having both on running speed, jogging, and walking. And if you kept loading up, eventually you wouldn't really be moving. If I remember correctly, she has some augments for strength, and that's why this is actually a better curve than you might normally see. So if I compare to the commander, you can see he's actually a little quicker and can carry a little heavier load in this case. But it's carrying very little at the moment. I just have a pistol and magazines for it. So let's say I wanted to carry some extra stuff here. Let's take one of these. I'm not picking anything particular and put an extra clip for it. You can see that actually, and like get something heavier here, like one of these. You can see it actually starts moving that line in terms of where you are for the character's load. And we do keep defaults for casual, field, and fancy outfits. So if I were to go here and I change to field and then go back to equipment, you'll see the loadouts change completely, where now I have a light battle suit, I'm carrying more weight. So that just gives you an idea. The reason we wanted to keep inventory defaults separate for each is we didn't want to make you go through the process of re-equipping your character for combat versus equipping your character for a stealth mission and having to go through that process each time. So you effectively have 3 sets of defaults for equipment. So I'm going to exit this, and I'm going to hop into the editor and show you a couple other things for the new maps. Okay, I've made it to the editor. I'm going to start up one of our maps here and show you what's changed. We used to have the very hard edge of the map off to the side, and now what you're going to see is we're doing a saturation effect. So the playable area is over here on the right. That's green. It'll basically have all the color that you're expecting. Where on the left, you're going to see this desaturated area. Or if I fly the camera up, I'll just use our new button for that and pull it all the way out. You can see this is actually a small map, but you can see the playable area versus the surrounding terrain. I'll just fly the camera back down. And effectively what we've done is tried to make it a little easier so there's no longer that harsh edge. We actually have done some work so that there's planes extending out, and we've added fog so that you won't see too far beyond the edge. So we're hoping that makes it a little more visually palatable. And we'll make the amount of extra terrain that's being generated adjustable in the settings. The reason for that is there is a small performance penalty to having that extra terrain there, and for those who would rather just have the absolute best performance, we'll provide the option for behaving as if as we did before, and you'll get the best possible performance. So there you have it. We've been busy here. We are still heading towards early access at a good clip, and I'll have a new update soon. Thanks for listening. Bye.